Hello there. So today I want to talk a little bit about what happened to me with my passport and how it was reported lost and stolen in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and the following drama that transpired because of it, thanks to the people that reported it who misleadingly reported it as stolen, which it wasn't. Of course, it was always in my possession. And then how my dearest own home office in the United Kingdom treated the situation instead of helping me. Uh, yeah, so clearly the passport was reported lost and stolen by somebody else, not by me, because I had it on myself all the time, right? So this is the story. I'm just going to tell it as quickly as I can, but it's going to take a little while. So bear with me. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on my channel and like this and share this video because it's a very important video and I want people to know what happened to me so it doesn't happen to you, because it's a very nasty situation, very, very dangerous, very costly, very time consuming, very energy sucking, and worse, very, very bad. Anyway, so I had no idea that somebody randomly could report my passport or your passport, anyone's passport, lost and stolen. And in fact, they actually normally can't. To be able to do that, they need to have your passport in hand, go to the police, and then the police drop it off there, and then the police would decide what to do with it. Right now, that they wouldn't automatically report it lost and stolen. They would contact the embassy concerned and report it to them to deal with. But that didn't happen. So I can't quite say how or who yet, but I have my suspicions. It was reported on purpose by somebody high up to cause this problem, and probably done anonymously, because at the passport office in the UK they could not see who did it to me. Okay, so that was step one. Then I flew out from Cambodia, went to the Philippines to want to go there for 2 to 3 months to do content creation, videos and so on, and that's what I do, and explore the Philippines, trekking, hiking, see the beaches, see the volcanoes, and so on. So I departed Cambodia, went through the passport control. Passport was scanned, fingerprints were taken, photo was taken, everything was fine. That's a clue there, right? Everything was fine according to the immigration exiting staff. I arrive at the Philippines 3 hours later, 5 a.m. in the morning, go to the immigration there, and boom, boom, we've got a problem. I'm like, what? Your passport is flagged by Interpol. I'm like, what? How can that be? Well, it says it's lost or stolen. I'm like, what? I have it right here. Look, it's in my hand. Look, my passport. This means my passport. You can see. So they took me into the immigration office. Went on and on and on. And of course, they made photos of the passport. They sent it to Interpol, I guess, or whoever. And yes, it was confirmed lost or stolen by them. And I was therefore detained, held in a detention area with asylum seekers who've been there for 6, 7 months. It was absolutely disgusting. It was vile. It was horrible. And until I was, well, about 3 hours I was held there from about 6 in the morning till 9, 10, I think. And then I was finally told that I have to leave. I have to jump on the next plane back to the UK because that's the only place I can go because my passport is not valid. And that was confirmed because I spoke to the British Embassy in Manila in the airport, called them, and then they patched me through to the Home Office in the UK, in London, and said, yes, Mr. Hormott, your passport is no longer valid. It was reported lost and stolen to Interpol. Interpol, remember that. Why would anybody report a passport lost and stolen to Interpol, the international police that works all over the world? That was very suspicious also. And I said, well, I have it in hand. He said, well, I can't help it. I said, well, how the hell could anybody report my passport lost and stolen? Well, it's possible if someone knows how to do so, was the stupid answer that I got from them, which didn't help me at all. I said, well, don't you think that you should have contacted me and asked me? Because obviously you could see that it wasn't me who reported it lost and stolen, right? He said, well, we're not obliged to do so. I'm like, oh, okay. But my email address is in my file because it's been in my files for the last 15, 20 years. I've renewed my passport 2 times before, 5, 6 years ago. One was expiring, one got ruined by someone, and I had to get a new one. So this is the third time in 6 years. So they have my email address. They don't have my phone number, but they have my email address for sure. Yet they know that it wasn't me that reported it. It was either anonymous or somebody. It has to be somebody, because they can't just accept anonymous reports randomly, because nobody had the passport except for me. All anybody had, my landlord, was a passport copy, photocopy of the passports, and the immigration officials had the same. And that's it. So, but that being said, whoever reported it, we will get to that in the next weeks or so, because I'm going to put the Home Office under tremendous pressure to find out and tell me who did it, because it's a scandal. It's a scandal. It's a shambles, and it's a crime. And the bottom line here is that the Home Office should never, ever have cancelled or devalidated my passport without speaking to me, the holder of the passport. Never. Because I was on the other side of the planet traveling in Southeast Asia, and because they cancelled it, I was stuck completely. I completely stuck. Not just stuck, it was a nightmare. It was scary, it was horrible, it was frightening. And then I had to take a long flight to Doha from Manila, 9 hours there, 7, 8 hours waiting time, and then back to London, 6 hours. Absolutely shattered after a long flight from Cambodia to the Philippines the night before. So I arrive in London, go straight to the passport office to get a new one, and I find out there that everything has changed since 2019, and everything is now online, computerized. You can't walk in and sign the form anymore and pick it up in the afternoon. No, you cannot do that. You have to go online, and you have to do it differently. And in my case, the quickest and only way available to me, because when my previous passport was issued, was the 7-day fast track service. 7 days. Okay, so I did that. I made an appointment for the following Monday, and I went in to see the passport office with and completed all the forms online. Everything was done. Everything was good. I spoke to the people there in the office, explained my situation, which I'd explained on the phone previously the week before, on Thursday and Friday, intensively to various officers from the passport office. After which, when I was called by one called David, I remember his name vividly, who then said to me, "Oh, don't worry, we've understood what's happened now, that your passport was maliciously reported lost and stolen, and we will therefore replace your passport instead of giving you a new one. So we'll give you it was 5 years left on the passport. We'll give you 5 years for free, and that's where we'll take care of it for you, because we know you didn't do it. It's basically our mistake. They admitted that it wasn't my fault. It was their mistake to cancel it in the first place." Anyway, so that sounded good. That was a Friday, but I'd already made the appointment for Monday for a new passport application. So that seemed to cause the problem. So I went to the application meeting, appointment, discussed everything with them. Then I was told to call customer service at the passport office to tell them, please send it to this address in London where I'm staying, not another address which I have when I'm around, because I don't live in the UK. I'm abroad for 40 years now, because I'm not at that address. I'm in London. So that was noted. Yes, Mr. Holman, no problem. We'll do that. So time goes on, day after day, nothing's happening. I call on Friday, I call every day, 2-3 times. Now, finally, I call on Friday and Saturday. They say, yeah, don't worry. Monday the latest, you'll get the passport. Monday, I get a phone call from a very rude lady at the passport office, saying, hey, we still haven't got your verified photo signature, witnessing of your photo. I'm like, what? Why do you need that? You're using my old photo from my old passport because it's a replacement. No, we need the verification of the photograph anyway. Otherwise, you can't get it. I said, you're telling me this 1 week later. Passport office, 1 week, 7 days after I signed the application. 7 days it took them to tell me that this signature or this confirmation of my identity of my photo was missing. Now that is a scandal. That's an absolute disgrace. So therefore, the processing of my passport did not actually go into effect until that very day, Monday, the 3rd of February. Then things started to pick up and started to move faster. So the next day I got a message saying, okay, your passport is now being processed. The next day I get a message saying, okay, your passport is now being printed. This was like a Tuesday. And then I get another email saying, oh, we have now cancelled your passport. Your old passport is now not valid suddenly, and you can't use it anymore. I'm like, what? When I entered the UK on the 22nd of January, I was forced to hand over my passport to the border force agents And they impounded it, for which I got a letter saying that they impounded it and an explanation what to do and give to the passport office. So it was impounded and taken from me on the 22nd of January. Boom. And then around the 4th, 5th, 6th of February, I get an email from the passport office saying that they've just now cancelled my passport. So it just goes to show what a mess they are, how much they lied to me. Awful, 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 awful. So not just the lies and the time that they wasted, and I was waiting around in a hotel paying a fortune for the flight back last minute, like something like £2,000. The hotel cost and the food cost was something like 1,000, 1,500 overall. Horrible, horrible weather, cold. I managed to catch a chest cold, which I never get. Was pretty bad. I'm just recovering from that now, thanks to them and being stuck with very light clothing because I came from Southeast Asia. So nobody cared. Nobody cared about anything. They just didn't care what terrible situation they put someone else in, despite me explaining everything to them in great detail and explaining how urgent it is and explaining that I don't live in the country, that I live abroad and I have nowhere to go. You see, and that is the problem here. Nobody cared. There was no way to fast track it. There was nobody to speak to besides the guy who called me to tell me they're going to replace it for free. And then I realized something else was happening, because I was wondering, why are they suddenly asking me to do the photo verification of the new photo for the new application? Why do I need that now? And then I got another email saying, well, we are refunding you £55, which is basically pretty much half of what you paid for when you got the new passports in 2020, so 5 years ago, more or less, onto your card. And therefore that's done. And I, well, hang on a minute. And then finally, I was like, well, why am I getting a refund for the old passport when they're supposed to replace it for 5 years? So that puzzled me, because I asked for a refund for the new application, which is £170. So I didn't need it. So I was getting the old one replaced. Not so fast. What they did was they got sneaky on me. They saw an opportunity. Okay, well, he's already applied for a new one. We take that. We'll give him the new one with a full 10 years. They didn't tell me this. Nobody told me that they weren't replacing it. Nobody bothered to say that. And then they finally started to deliver the passports, which was on a Wednesday. Urgent. I'm like 2 weeks in at this point, okay? 2 weeks into the nightmare, stuck in a hotel, freezing cold in London, spending tons of money and running out of money too, technically. And then the passport was supposed to turn up on Thursday. Nope, because it's a fast track service. Nope, that's the 12th or 13th day by this point. The 7-day service that I paid for. Finally, it was supposed to, then I got a message saying it's coming between 8:45 a.m. and 12:45 p.m. on Friday. Great. I thought, okay, that'll give me, at least I'll get it, and I'll be able to get out of here by 1 p.m. on the Eurostar to Europe, or latest 3 p.m. to get myself somewhere safe with family. And that didn't happen. The passport finally turned up at 2:45 p.m. on Friday. 2:45, even though it was sent on Wednesday. And it's issued on Wednesday, the 5th of February. That's how disgraceful these people behave. Instead of sending it with DHL or UPS or any other express courier, which would have got it there the same day, saving me 2 nights of costs of the hotel and food and the ordeal and the rest of it, where I could have left and gone to see family and friends, they did it through the Royal Mail, which was a complete disaster, because you can track it. It doesn't say much, just says it's on its way. It doesn't say where it is or when it's going to come, right? Which with DHL or UPS, you can see exactly where it is and when it's going to come by time, by the minute. So the Home Office, the Passport Office lied to me. They went back on their promise to give me a replacement passport. They just issued a refund on the old one, which means they took my money for the new one. They didn't tell me about the passport photo verification to be necessary until 1 week after I'd been there, because I was told I did not need to do that, clearly, because I was getting the old one replaced with the old existing data and photo. So that's this Home Office, Passport Office screwed up terribly there. Awful mess, what they did to me. And to this day, they still have not apologized. They still have not understood the damage they have inflicted financially, emotionally, and physically, leaving someone like me or anyone in the world stranded, like in a complete utter mess, and then being stranded and stuck in a place you don't live in London in particular, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world, and did not care. I could not contact anyone who could make any sense of the situation and do something sensible. The one person who called me on that Friday, on the 23rd of January, who said he's going to replace the passports, he never called back again, was never available to me again, and that it's got screwed over again and again and again by the system that the British government has installed, by the Home Office, by the Passport Office, and everyone else involved. It's an absolute scandal, and I'm going to go to the media with this story. I'm going to go to the newspapers, the Mirror, the Sun, the Guardian, whichever will take it, do a big write-up. I'm going to write a massive complaint to the Home Office, a massive complaint, and I'm going to demand full compensation and reimbursement of all of my costs, and on top of that too, for damages, for mental health damages. Yes, so I'm going to ask for all the actual costs plus compensation for what happened to me, something in the range of £10,000 minimum. And if they don't do it, I'm going to go to lawyers, solicitors, and we're going to go for them in court. Because what you have done, Home Office, is an absolute scandal and disgrace, and you need to be exposed for your behavior, both the fact that you illegally cancelled my passports without asking me, because you knew exactly I did not cancel it. You left me stranded in the middle of nowhere on the other side of the planet with no passports. Then, when I get back, I was pushed to come back, and I spent a fortune doing so. Nobody was around to help me. Nobody cared about my misfortune. Nobody sped up the process. Everybody lied to me. Nobody told the truth. Nobody helped me. It was a scandal. Instead, you just took the money, you basically pissed all over me, and let me hang out dry in the cold. And that's, my friends, is what happened. So that's the Home Office of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, which is not so great anymore at all. And this will not be the end of this story until they pay me back the costs and compensation. Okay. Now, I have a warning for you all watching this. I would suggest, if you've been traveling in these types of countries, particularly in Southeast Asia or in South America or in Africa, let's say, outside of the European Union, or America is probably okay. USA, I should say, I mean North America. But anywhere else in the world, if you've been there for a longer period of time, call your consulate in that country before you leave, to ask them to find out if your passport is valid or not, or if someone else has done the dirty on you and cancelled your passport for you. Because then if you do that, if I had done that, of course I had no idea this could happen, so I didn't even think about it. If I had called the British consulate in Cambodia at the time and said, hey, could you check on my passport, make sure it's valid, everything's okay, they would have told me, no, Mr. Hobbot, your passport is not valid. That would have meant I could have gone to the passport of the British consulate services, applied for an emergency passport. With that emergency passport, I could have then applied for a new passport to be delivered online, to be delivered from the UK to Cambodia. That would have taken 10 days, no problem, all problems solved with minimal damage, time, money, and loss, right? So take that to heart, to mind. If you've stayed in these countries, South America, Southeast Asia, Africa, all of those potentially troublesome, questionable countries, Middle East, it's all of them, except for Europe and North America. Check your passport is valid before you leave. Check. That's what I'm going to say. All right, that's it. That's what happened. I hope it doesn't happen to you, but this is not over. I'm going to go and get what I want from the Home Office, and they are going to pay for what they did. All right then. See you in the next video, and I wish you the best. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Rob's Health Crunch. Don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel. There is more great content on the way from me about Cambodia, health, fitness, wellness, real healthy food, and great lifestyle habits. Don't forget to enable notifications so you'll know when the latest video is posted. Until then, here's some other great content I think you will enjoy.